Good evening, and welcome to Emo Nightly News for August 10, 2026. We are your presenters, Anna Gordon
and Michael Pierre.
It was a very eventful weekend in Dominica with Asa Banton's 10th annual Breakfast Fete activities.
From the fete grounds in Granby to the stories shaping Dominica, the region and the world, we have you covered. Here are the headlines.
Breakfast Fete weekend comes to an energetic end.
Electoral Office of Dominica announces commencement of printing voter identification cards.
Roseau North by-election set for September 7.
Drew welcomes DDL's investment in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thousands evacuated as wildfires threaten homes in Canada's Okanagan region.
Jab Jab takes over Grenada as Spice Mass 2026 reaches Carnival Monday.
Ukrainian drone strike kills 13 inside Russia.
Dominica names senior teams for the 2026 EGVA Volleyball Championships.
And We United and Middleham United secure Premier League victories.
These stories and more coming up next. In local news, the 10th edition of Asa Banton's Summer Daybreak Breakfast Fete came to an end today, following a weekend filled with fun, entertainment, and celebration in Granby. Party lovers from Dominica, across the region and the world, descended on Granby for the anniversary celebrations, which featured a packed lineup of local and regional entertainment. Popular Jamaican dancehall artist Valiant graced the Breakfast Fete stage for a short performance, while several local artists and regional DJs also kept patrons entertained throughout the event. A staple of the Breakfast Fete weekend is the annual Island Tour, where the Booyah boss, Asa Banton, takes the opportunity to showcase the Nature Isle to the many visitors who travel to Dominica for the event. This year, the tour started in Roseau, made a stop in St. Joseph, and continued to Mero Beach, giving visitors another opportunity to experience Dominica beyond the festivities in Granby. The 10th anniversary attracted scores of patrons, including visitors who traveled to the island specifically for the Breakfast Fete weekend.
Hey Dominica, trust me, it's a beautiful day in Dominica today. I mean, thousands of people on a regular Monday, you know, an extra economy. We gave you guys an extra holiday. We just came from St. Joe, where we made the people from St. Joe make some money, you know, and give the French people and the foreigners, the St. Martiners, the VI people, a little taste of the opening of St. Joe Carnival. And we have so many people right now in Mero. We choose Mero this year because we want to also show them we also have black sand beaches in Dominica, and this is one of those, the closest one to Roseau. So whenever you visit Dominica, you can always come to Mero, get some food, you know, come have a bath, you know. So we're in Mero right now. Yes, and I just want to say, from Friday we started the Breakfast Fete weekend on Friday with the lighting parade. It was a very, very successful lighting parade. A lot of people, the vendors in Granby made a lot of money. It was really good. And then we move on to the Saturday. We had the 10th annual Summer Daybreak Breakfast Fete, which was a huge success. You know, so many people were here. And Sunday we had a little cool off day, a rest day. And then today we had the Island Tour, where we left from the Bayfront to Meru, and then we're heading back to Granby to end it off with the Island Tour Wet Fete. We always end with a Wet Fete at the end. And I just want to thank EmoNews, for being there, always on site, always the first one to get there. Everyone follow after.
Let's hear from some of the individuals who attended this year's Breakfast Fete as they shared their experience.
Hi, it's Victor and Sweet 38, so everything good, we enjoy ourselves. Nice weekend, nice everything. So thank you.
So for the overall experience, it's mad fete, mad music, mad culture. You have to come here if you want to have the vibes. You have to come here. Bouillon for the Breakfast Fest 2026. You already know we are out here. Yeah, man.
As the 10th edition comes to a close, thanks are extended to the many visitors who graced our shores for the Breakfast Fete weekend. We wish everyone traveling home a safe journey and look forward to another exciting edition of Asa Banton's Summer Daybreak Breakfast Fete next year.
And in some news Dominicans have been waiting for, the Electoral Office has begun printing voter identification cards as part of the modernization of the country's electoral system. The cards will be printed and distributed by constituency based on the confirmed electors list. The new voter ID is required under the House of Assembly Elections Act 2025 and represents the final stage of the ongoing voter confirmation process. The Electoral Office says it will announce when cards are available for collection at designated voter confirmation centers. Members of the public are urged to follow official announcements for collection dates. The office says the initiative is aimed at strengthening the integrity, transparency, and efficiency of Dominica's electoral system. In more election-related news, electors in the Roseau North constituency will head to the polls on Monday, September 7th, to elect a new parliamentary representative. The announcement was made on Sunday evening by the Prime Minister of Dominica, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit. Nomination day is set for Friday, August 21st. The by-election follows the resignation of former Roseau North Representative Miriam Blanchard on June 12th, leaving the seat vacant. Under Dominica's constitution, a by-election must be held within 3 months when a parliamentary seat becomes vacant, unless Parliament is dissolved. Prime Minister Skerrit has urged voters to participate and call for a peaceful, orderly, and issue-based campaign. Attention now turns to nomination day on August 21st, ahead of the September 7th poll.
5 new Peace Corps volunteers have officially begun their service in Dominica with a focus on supporting education and improving learning outcomes across the island. The volunteers were welcomed during a swearing-in ceremony, marking the beginning of their assignments in communities across Dominica. Representing the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence, Robert Gist, Education Officer for the Northern District, Solange Basil, highlighted the long-standing partnership between Dominica and the United States.
Since they first arrived on our shores in the 1960s, and that was way before many of us here were born, volunteers have made meaningful contributions to education, youth development, agriculture, health, environmental conservation, and community development. Their work has enriched countless lives while fostering lasting relationships between the people of Dominica and the United States.
Basil noted that the Peace Corps partnership with Dominica has endured for more than 6 decades, with volunteers contributing to education, youth development, agriculture, health, environmental conservation, and community development. She said that this year's volunteers will support national efforts to strengthen education and improve learning outcomes, while encouraging them to embrace Dominican culture and communities during their time on the island.
This year, we are delighted to welcome 5 literacy resource volunteers who will support our national efforts to strengthen literacy and improving learning outcomes across the island. To Venetia White from Georgia, serving in the South, Ethan Davis from California, who will serve in the East. Kelly Gerard from Missouri, also serving in the South. Pearl Madriga from Minnesota, serving in the West. And Robert Peel from North Carolina, who will be serving in my district, the North. Welcome to Dominica. The work will help nurture confident readers, critical thinkers, and lifelong learners. While you will share your knowledge and experience, I am confident that you will also gain a deep appreciation for our beautiful culture, our communities, and the warmth of the Dominican people.
The Peace Corps Program and Training Manager, Lancashire Joseph John, also welcomed the new volunteers and reflected on the impact of volunteer service on young people. She shared the story of a student whose confidence and classroom participation improved through one-on-one sessions with a Peace Corps volunteer.
A teacher at one of our schools where a volunteer is currently serving shared a story with me, and I'm excited to share just a tidbit with you, because if I have to start to tell you all the stories, we will be here for the next 54 years. A hesitant young reader, unsure of himself, began to flourish after consistent one-on-one sessions with a volunteer. His confidence grew, his reading level advanced, and he began to participate eagerly in class when before he just shied away. It was not a grand gesture, just steady, compassionate service, but it has changed a child's future.
Joseph John said that the experience demonstrates that even small acts of compassionate service can make a lasting difference in a child's future. She also expressed appreciation to the individuals and teams who support the Peace Corps program, noting that its success depends on people working together.
With their part, with their special way of doing it, to make what we call the great bouillon of training and equipping you, EC96, with the skills, insights, and confidence needed for the communities you will soon serve. On behalf of the people and government of Dominica, we welcome you wholeheartedly. You are now part of our communities, our classrooms, and our shared mission to ensure that every child has a foundation to succeed. We look forward to the lasting impact your service will bring and the relationships that you will build as you continue this important journey together. I thank you, everyone.
The 5 volunteers will now take up their respective assignments in communities around Dominica. Officials say their service is expected to strengthen educational support while further deepening the long-standing relationship between Dominica and the United States. Economist Kent Vital is calling for greater focus on measurable outcomes and clear objectives in Dominica's national budgeting process. Vital was speaking at the Dominica Business Forum's post-budget discussion, where he outlined what he believes should be the key purposes of a national budget. He said a budget should be more than a list of financial figures, arguing that it should translate government's policies and priorities into measurable financial commitments.
A budget really, without clear objectives, is really just a list of numbers. So a budget should be a very, very important instrument, but with very clear objectives. If the budget is guided by very clear objectives, it becomes a very powerful instrument. The budget is supposed to really translate the ruling government's political vision into measurable financial commitments. And in countries like ours, in developing countries, these objectives of doing the budget, if we have clear objectives, they should help the policymakers decide what to fund, what to tax.
Vital said that the annual budget should be linked to a broader national vision and long-term development plan, supported by medium-term strategies outlining how those objectives should be achieved. He also highlighted accountability as a key component of effective budgeting, saying citizens should be able to see a clear connection between government spending and the policies and outcomes being pursued.
True budget accountability requires not just numbers, but a clear link between allocations, and was what they decide to spend on, what they allocate to different areas, and the policy goals. But it also should be along with clear and meaningful opportunities for public participation in the budget making process. So accountability is a two-way street, so to speak. Now, another important element of the marginal objective is assessing outcomes. When we budget, it's not just about the numbers. It should be ideally about the outcomes. Modern budgeting emphasizes outcomes, not just that we built a road, but that road has an outcome on farmers' productivity, and in turn has an impact on farmers' income and poverty in rural areas. So we are not just interested in the fact that the road is built, the airport is built, but we're interested in the deeper outcomes and impacts. Is unemployment going down? Is poverty increasing? Is mortality or going down, and so on?
Vital also called for greater efficiency in public spending, saying government should seek to maximize the output from every dollar spent and reduce waste. He said budget performance should be reviewed at the end of each financial year, with the results feeded into the preparation of the following year's budget.
An important thing also in terms of managerial objective is evaluation of performance. The budget cycle in itself should be a performance evaluation exercise. So at the end of every financial year, actual receipts and expenditure should be compared with budgeted estimates. But not just that. If there are any shortfalls or overshoots, they should be examined and they should feed into the next year's budget. So there should be a continuous feedback loop. But it's, again, not just about the spending in itself. Evaluation should go beyond just the expenditure and just the receipts. It should also consider the extent to which the expenditure, the receipt, contributed to the intended results, to the outcomes, to the impacts that we want, as I was saying earlier.
He also addressed how the national budget is financed, highlighting taxation, grants, loans, and other sources of revenue, stressing that the tax system should be equitable, productive, simple, and flexible.
Our tax system, or the taxes that we introduce should be productive. In other words, they should be able to generate revenue, but without affecting productive capacity, the ability of the country to produce. They must be flexible. They must be convenient, very convenient for people to pay. Simplicity and certainly complex taxes just encourages persons to avoid them. There must be certainty as well along with that. And our tax system also must encourage social development. It must also encourage economic development at the same time. So all of these are characteristics we want to see reflected in the kinds of taxes that we put forward. Hopefully our taxes would also have a diversified base, not just 50% of our revenue coming from one source, and then, you know, especially where that source might be vulnerable. We want to diversify so that in the event of a shock to one of the sources of the tax, then there is still resources we can call on to fund the expenditures that might be reflected in the budget. And of course, our tax system or taxes must be buoyant. We don't want every minute to be going in and changing rates. Ideally, you want something that when the economy grows, the taxes grows with it.
Vital also raised concerns about reliance on special sources of revenue, including Dominica's Citizenship by Investment program, saying the sustainability and potential risks associated with such revenue sources must be carefully considered. He said the ability to finance government spending ultimately depends on the country's revenue-generating capacity and the willingness of creditors and other financing partners to provide funds. And finally, on the local scene, the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force has confirmed that a male police officer is now in custody and under questioning as investigations intensify into the disappearance of 16-year-old Jabia Paul, who was reported missing by her family on July 24, 2026. Police say that the officer is believed to be the last person known to have been with the 16-year-old around the time of her disappearance. Family members and community residents have conducted numerous searches in an effort to locate the teenager. Today marks 17 days since the teenager was last seen. EmoNews will continue to provide updates as more information becomes available. And that's local news. Stay tuned for regional and international news with Soana Gordon.
Tico, that's $800. Cash or card?
When cash is low, Tico is still ready.
Always card, Chalo. Would you like a copy of the receipt?
No, Chalo. NBD already sent me the alert and I'll see it on Mo Banking later. That is it. From card to farm. Power your business with the NBD Small Business Credit Card. Your partner, your bank.
First up in regional news, St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, has welcomed continued investment and expansion by Demerara Distillers Limited, or DDL, in the Federation. Drew says DDL's 3 decades of investment reflects confidence in St. Kitts and Nevis and its economic future. He says the government wants investments that create jobs, develop skills, support local businesses, strengthen manufacturing, and boost exports. Drew also described DDL's expansion as an example of Caribbean integration, with the Guyanese company expanding its operations in St. Kitts and Nevis. He reaffirmed that the Federation remains open for business and pledged continued support for responsible investment that benefits citizens. And finally, in regional news, thousands of masqueraders and spectators filled the streets of Grenada early Monday for Juve, one of the biggest highlights of Spice Mass 2026. The island's iconic jab-jab tradition took center stage, with masqueraders covered in black oil or charcoal, wearing horned headpieces, and moving through the streets to the songs of soca and jab music. Celebrations continued Monday night ahead of Carnival Tuesday and a colorful parade of the bands. Spice Mass continues to draw Grenadians, returning nationals, and visitors from across the Caribbean and beyond, celebrating Grenada's vibrant culture and carnival spirit. And we'll be right back with international news.
Blast Gaming presents its biggest job whatever. Blast Mystery Progressive. I'm so excited. I can't hide it. In your blast up and rising. And I like it. It going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up and up and up and up.
Play selected games to win in the Blast Mystery Progressive. Pick until you match 3 gems and win one of the 5 cash jackpots. Or you can blast up with the Mystery Progressive Jackpot.
It's going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up. Blast Gaming.
Internationally, a fast-moving wildfire in Canada's British Columbia has forced thousands of residents from their homes as firefighters battle dangerous conditions in the Okanagan region. The Bald Range wildfire has triggered evacuation orders in Summerland, Pitchland, and surrounding communities. British Columbia has declared a state of emergency with more than 100 wildfires burning across the province. Officials say the blaze has destroyed homes and other properties, while hot, dry conditions and heavy smoke are making firefighting difficult. The federal government has pledged support for displaced residents, while international crews are helping local firefighters. Authorities are urging residents to follow evacuation orders as efforts continue to contain the fires. And finally, in international news, at least 13 people have been killed and 39 others injured in a Ukrainian drone strike on the Russian city of Nizhnekamsk, according to local authorities. The attack is being described as the deadliest Ukrainian strike inside Russia in more than 2 years. A child was reportedly among those killed. Nizhnekamsk, located more than 1,000 kilometers east of Moscow, is home to a major oil refinery. Online videos showed a large fire and thick smoke, though it remains unclear exactly what was hit. The attack comes as Russia and Ukraine continue to intensify drone and missile strikes, targeting cities, energy facilities, and other critical infrastructure. And we'll be right back with the sports news after this break.
Coming up on the outside. Sit down. Tina coming up on the outside. Look it.
And the news from the world of sports. Dominica senior men's and women's volleyball teams are set to compete at the 2026 ECVA Championships in Tortola, British Virgin Islands from August 12th to the 16th. The men, led by Captain Jan Flora, are chasing gold after winning silver in 2024 and bronze last year. Meanwhile, the women, captained by Zahidu Henry, are returning to regional competition after several years away. Both teams will be looking to make their mark and proudly represent Dominica on the regional stage. Dominica has secured its first ever medal at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships thanks to an outstanding performance by javelin thrower Addison James. James captured the bronze medal in the men's javelin, producing a massive throw of 73.89 meters. The performance also established a new national record for Dominica, adding another major achievement to the young athlete's career. James's historic bronze marks a significant moment for Dominican athletes as he becomes the country's first ever medalist at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships. Congratulations to Addison James, World Under-20 Javelin bronze medalist. On Friday night, We United FC secured a 2-0 victory over Mighty Avengers. Markel Auguste opened the scoring early to give We United the advantage before Leon Edwards added a second goal in the second half to seal the 3 points. Meanwhile, Saturday's Premier League action saw Middleham United FC continue their strong run with a convincing 4-1 victory over Point Michel FC. Marcellus Bonney led the charge for Middleham, scoring twice as his team collected another important 3 points. Bonney's performance earned him the Man of the Match award. Congratulations to Marcellus Bonney. And that's it for sports. Stay tuned for the weather report.
Welcome to the weather broadcast for today, Monday, the 10th of August, 2026. From our studios in Jimit, I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. As we take a look at our survey chat analysis with Dominica here in the Green Circle, we are seeing an increasing activity across the Atlantic as we approach the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. We are looking at 3 tropical waves. This tropical wave is expected to move through during tonight into tomorrow morning with limited activity. This wave here in the Central Atlantic is expected to move through sometime around Wednesday or into Thursday, with this third wave here expected to move through sometime around Saturday into Sunday. Now let's take a look at the outlook. Here we have Dominica in the green circle. This first wave here in the Central Atlantic has a low chance of development within the next 2 to 7 days. However, this wave here out in the far eastern Atlantic has a low chance of development within the next 2 days. However, there's a medium chance of development during the next 7 days. This wave here is expected to move mainly towards the southern portion of the region, and this wave here is expected to make its way towards mainly the northern portion of the island chain. So we will be monitoring this one, and you should be monitoring the progress of these systems as well. Now let's take a look at the moisture associated with these features. Here we have the moisture associated with that first wave, expected to move through during tonight into tomorrow morning, and high moisture content in purple associated with that second wave in the central Atlantic, expected to move through sometime Wednesday into Thursday. So we should look out for this, as we expect to see an increase in cloudiness and a high chance for showers and possible thunderstorms. And this third wave here out in the far eastern Atlantic, here is the moisture content. Again, some purple can be seen, which indicates high levels of moisture associated with these tropical waves. Dominica here in the green circle. Now, taking a look at satellite imagery, we can see the movement of clouds, limited clouds associated with that first tropical wave here, with an area of Saharan dust observed in the region here and across the Atlantic. And this is the area of cloudiness associated with that wave in the central Atlantic, expected to move through sometime Wednesday into Thursday. And this is the area of cloudiness associated with that third wave, with a medium chance of development during the next 2 days, with a low chance of development during the next 2 days, and a medium chance of development within the next 7 days. Dominica did experience generally cloudy skies during today, as seen here on satellite. And taking a look at radar imagery, a few pockets of light to moderate showers moved across Dominica today, with some moderate showers observed mainly across the interior of the island. Now let's take a look at the Saharan dust, Saharan air layer. There we can see some fluctuations in Saharan dust expected to move across the region of the Lesser Antilles, including Dominica, with a reduction in Saharan dust concentration expected sometime around Wednesday with the passage of that tropical wave. So again, we're advising people with respiratory sensitivities to be on alert and to exercise caution to avoid complications, as we expect to see an increase in Saharan dust concentration again by Thursday following the passage of that tropical wave. Now, tonight's weather is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy and hazy, with a few brief showers, with temperatures down to 24 degrees Celsius on the coast and 22 degrees Celsius in the interior. Some light winds expected coming from generally easterly. Now, tomorrow Tuesday, we expect to see again partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a few scattered showers, and also hazy conditions expected to persist in varying concentrations during the next 3 days. And increasing cloudiness with scattered showers can be expected on Wednesday and Thursday due to the approach of that tropical wave. Also, we expect to see an increase in wind speeds, with wind speeds increasing to 35 kilometers per hour on Wednesday and 45 kilometers per hour on Thursday. Hold on to your hats on Thursday with those strong winds, and look out for loose objects, as they could become missiles in strong winds. Also, we expect to see an increase in wave heights, with wave heights going from 7 feet up to 8 feet on Thursday. So we're advising small craft operators and sea bathers to be on alert and to exercise caution, especially during Thursday. Also, visibility expected to be affected due to Saharan dust. So take along your navigational devices when venturing out to sea. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:49 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:31 p.m. High tide will be at 1:44 a.m. and 3:08 p.m. and low tide will be at 8:52 a.m. and 8:01 p.m. Again, scan this QR code here to join us and follow us on our WhatsApp channel, and also search Dominica Met, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and also visit our website at www.weather.gov.dm for more information. Thank you for joining us. Stay safe, stay informed. See you next time.
This has been Emo Nightly News Package for August 10, 2026. We have been your presenters, so Anna Gordon
and Michael Pierre. Do have a lovely evening.